Welcome, everyone, to the Everything Show. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Jay. What's up, Jay?
Hey.
What's up, Scott?
Hello, all.
Okay, so we have some box office numbers that you'll find very interesting. Turns out there was reports all over the place that Justice League made its $500 million worldwide.
How?
How? From the foreign numbers that we can't see yet, only they can see. All right?
Yeah.
So that's fine. And then, of course, from their numbers, Thor Ragnarok is over 800 million. So two little milestones that we got going on. We don't even have the weekend numbers in yet, but that's great. There was also a report that said that I guess HBO was offered Lord of the Rings first.
Damn.
And turned it down because it would be a slap in the face and a disrespect to Game of Thrones and everything. And they were like, no way. So that's why somebody else has got it. But regardless of money, you know, you got to go with what's right. And that would have been a wrong thing to do. Plus, it would have caused massive problems on set for the new season. And it would have caused, like, you know, because some people would have been pissed, you know. So they did the right thing. Main thing we're doing tonight is we're confirming that Margot Robbie has confirmed that she is definitely doing another movie as Harley Quinn.
That's nice.
And everybody's probably speculating that it's probably going to be Suicide Squad 2 because that was the only movie that was green-lit from the last time. And as far as making new movies, the DCU is kind of concerned because of Justice League that they don't. Now, the thing is, they could decide to go with the Joker and Harley Quinn movie or just Harley Quinn. But I think what they're going to do is, to be safe, they're going to do a Suicide Squad 2. That's what I think is going to happen.
That would be awesome to see.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But we're hearing The Rock is the villain of Suicide Squad 2, though.
Okay.
Which I don't know. As what's his name? Black Adam.
Oh, God. How can they defeat Black Adam?
How could they what?
How could they defeat Black Adam?
I don't know.
They'd have to count him into saying his name.
Or is that how he gets beat?
But how would they?
Like Mixoplex? He's like Mixoplex?
I mean, that's the only way I can think of him doing it.
I never heard of Black Adam because I'm not a DC guy, so I don't know.
Black Adam is the villain of Shazam.
Yeah, because he came before Shazam, and because of his turning, that's why the wizard Shazam chose Billy Batson, or would constantly.
So in other words, he has to say his name and then he loses?
Yes.
So why would he say his name then?
Well, he dies.
Yeah, he reverts back to his original self, which would be thousands of years old.
So why would he do that, though?
See, he's been Black Adam without turning back to Seth Adam for 5,000 years.
So the person he turns back into would be old?
Be dead.
Yep.
He's mortal.
Oh, he's mortal?
Yeah, he's mortal.
When he says Shazam and goes back to being Seth Adam is mortal. See, he isn't Black Adam forever. It's just like Billy Batson.
Yeah.
When Captain Marvel says Shazam, he turns back to an 11-year-old boy.
So in other words, like he decided after a certain point in time to stay in that form because he was old?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's not supposed to.
Well, see, once he became Seth Adam, he never rechanged back to Seth Adam. He said Shazam and became Black Adam and never went back to Seth Adam.
And control.
So he became a villain then?
Yeah.
Because, see, he took over Egypt.
I see.
He conquered Egypt.
But the person who gave him his powers, that's against the rules, right?
No, it is against the rules. And the wizard, he sent him off to another galaxy, and for the last 5,000 years, he's been trying to get back to Earth.
So the original story. Okay, so
Yeah, 'cause he gave Seth Adam power to be like an A in existence, but when he turned evil.
So he'll turn. So the moment he turns back to human, he's dead.
You remember
Yes.
the Superman Shazam thing they did a few years ago?
Mm-hmm.
The cartoon. That at the end of that, that's pretty much similar of what would happen to him.
He just turns to dust.
Yeah.
So why even turn back then? Ever?
He doesn't. That's just it. That's why he never says Shazam.
The only
saying
way is if the wizard. What was it in the cartoon, Scott? He tricked him into saying Shazam or something, and
I forget how that, or he grabbed him and said it and threw him in front of the lightning. It's one of those two.
in the cartoon he just said it and died. I don't know why, but Tawny the tiger told him that if you don't stop, I'm gonna hurt you. Well, Tawny the tiger, I don't know if he has any powers or not, but he said the wizard will take care of you again. Oh, that's what it was. He said he'll fling you so far it'll take you 20,000 years to get back there, and that's when he said Shazam and he died.
Mm-hmm.
Because he couldn't take that torture being away from everything. See, for 5,000 years, his trip to Earth, he had nobody, nothing. He didn't see anybody or nothing.
Wow.
All he was doing for the 5,000 years was flying through space to get back to Earth, to conquer it and take his revenge against the wizard.
Oh, wow.
And when Tawny the tiger helped Captain Marvel defeat Black Adam, he said, I can't do anything, but I bet you the wizard will toss your butt all the way 20,000 light years away. And he goes, no, and he says Shazam, and he dies and turns into a skeleton, and then the skeleton turns into dust.
Wow.
So that's the only way that I would think that they would be able to do that, is if the wizard Shazam or Captain Marvel tells the Suicide Squad what to do.
Well, he's no longer called Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that really bites.
Because they had a lawsuit.
Because you see, DC had Captain Marvel before Marvel.
Yes, but the problem is that when you ask anybody about like his name, they think it's Shazam. They don't think it's Captain Marvel. And being that Marvel had a Captain Marvel, and they didn't want to part with it, they says, you know what? We know him as Shazam anyway. Let's just call him Shazam.
Which I think is stupid.
I don't think it's stupid, because if you think about it, back then, everybody does remember Shazam. You don't remember them calling him Captain Marvel, do you?
Because see, his arch nemesis. His arch nemesis was Dr. Savannah, and he never knew how to defeat him. Well, finally, he saw him as Billy Batson say Shazam and turn into the big red cheese, as he always calls him.
Right.
And he found a way to stop him by gagging his mouth, where he can't call on the power of Shazam.
Right.
So if everybody knows that he's Shazam, that destroys the myth and the magic.
I'm talking about the fans of comics, not...
Yeah, I know.
Because every time he calls himself Shazam, he should turn every time.
No, but it's not that people would call him Shazam as a hero.
No, I mean Billy Batson.
Oh yeah, I know, but the Marvel anyway.
Saying that name is for him to transform to and from.
So Marvel just got to keep the name, and
I would say rename him something else, Captain something else, Captain Lightning or something.
Yeah, but nobody has said any problems with they have calling him Shazam. So they've had that for like years.
Except some fans, right, Scott?
I don't know. I mean, nobody's really said anything like making a stink. I mean, forums and anything. I don't think. I don't know. I mean,
it just ruins my childhood knowing that he had a secret. You know,
what bothers me? I'm hearing somebody else is running around called Spider-Man. I'm like, no. You know, Miles Morales, no, call him something different. Yeah. You know, I'm pissed about that. But only Peter Parker should be Spider-Man, unless they're doing Ultimate.
Call him the Crimson Spider. No, I mean the Ebony Spider or something.
They could call him something Spider. Like, why not?
I'm surprised that DC didn't come out with a kind of Spider-Man-like superhero.
I don't think they
since
would ever.
Marvel ripped off a lot of their characters.
Yeah, because they both ripped off a lot of each other.
They both ripped off each other, but I mean,
Submariner came before Aquaman.
Yeah,
and so and forth with DCU doing something, and Marvel comes out and Justice League was actually what is it called, Scott? Justice Society of America first came out, and then
Doom Patrol,
they had
Doom Patrol, and then about a few months or a year or so later was X-Men.
Doom Patrol and X-Men.
Actually, was it X-Men or was it Fantastic Four?
No, it was Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol came out first, and then about, I forget how many months or year, about either a few months after that or a year or so after that,
it was X-Men.
X-Men. Because if you look at the similarities of the lead characters, that's it.
Yeah. You're right, I think. Yep.
Well, my thing is now that see a lot. Here's my take, and I don't mean anything bad by it, but I kind of see Brian Michael Bendis, who's supposed to be the big writer at Marvel. Now he's not at Marvel anymore. When I'm reading my stuff, and I've read like these characters for a long time, and when you start to see that someone is writing your character, one of your faves, right, and they're writing them where that's not your character. Like, I remember reading West Coast Avengers, and Hawkeye's main thing was that he's never going to kill, and no Avenger could ever kill. And when his wife was abducted, Barbara Morse, Mockingbird, when she was abducted by the Phantom Rider in the West, he basically gave her amnesia, and he had sex with her and everything. And the whole time she had like this arrowhead necklace. But basically, by knowing that she's married and everything and keeping her memories from her, it's like he's raping her in a way. So when she came to and she had her memories, because she felt violated by him, she wanted to kill him. And her husband's like, you, no matter what, oh my God, I love you, whatever, but you can never kill anybody. And she said, no, he's dying. So when they fought and he was hanging from a cliff, she let him die. So she didn't actually kill him, but she didn't really help him to get back, and he died, like the Phantom Rider. And because of that, Hawkeye wanted to divorce her, like just, you know, and then she died at the hands of Mephisto, which I was always pissed at, you know. But now, in the comics, when Brian Michael Bendis was doing for Hawkeye, for no reason, he had him kill the Hulk. And to me, that's a paradox. I'm like, that's not
somebody Hawkeye. Actually killed the Hulk?
Yeah, the Hawkeye killed the Hulk with the arrowhead that was something to do with Gamma thing, and I was pissed, and I'm like, he doesn't kill anybody. It ruins the whole thing. Just like when he killed off Hawkeye, people flipped out against him, and then he brought him back. He's doing things with these characters that would never do this, or they would never, it goes against everything that they would do. Tony Stark would not become Doctor Strange. He would not become Sorcerer Supreme. But Brian Michael Bendis made it that Tony Stark's going to be Sorcerer Supreme in the future. No good. He said that Iceman was gay because he thought that he was gay when he was a kid. And he's not gay, but he made the character gay. He also put his influence to make it that I believe Cyclops killed Professor X. And then the Red Skull ate Professor X's brains and became Onslaught. All these changes that are so ridiculous, not all, but most of them, Brian Michael Bendis has done. He's created the ultimate universe because he attempted to have his universe replace the main Marvel universe, and nobody wanted it. Even though it was a success, it was a failure where it could never take over. So what he did in his universe was he had Peter Parker die and Miles Morales take over, which is an African-American kid. He winds up bringing Miles Morales into the Marvel universe now. He's the one also that made Mary Jane in the Iron Man comic. And again, if you're a fan of Spider-Man, you know that when Tony Stark did that whole Civil War where he wanted everybody to reveal their identity, Peter Parker did. for him. But then Peter Parker found out that he's going after Captain America and everybody else, and he turned on Tony Stark. And Tony Stark promised to make sure that Aunt May was safe, promised to make sure that Mary Jane was safe. He kicked him out like an arrogant SOB. And he caused, Aunt May to be wide open to get almost killed, where Peter Parker made the deal in the first place with the devil, Mephisto, to alter the timeline. Now, the whole point is that Brian Michael Bendis is responsible. And I know he's done some good, but overall he's done bad. And I'm hoping that now that he's gone, that they undo what he's done. Like, Ironheart, get rid of her. I'm sorry. Miles Morales, get rid of him. Put him in the other universe. Iceman's not gay. Fix that.
No, yeah.
Yes,
all
please.
this stuff is just a mess. And I'm sorry, but you need to fix it. This is like when I loved John Byrne when he wrote X-Men, and oh my God, the greatest storylines ever. When he took over my West Coast Avengers and he took over Spider-Man stuff, he ruined it. Where destroyed the whole thing, and I was like, oh, I couldn't wait for him to go. And yes, he did nice things to X-Men, but he destroyed everything else. So, and that's my opinion. So right now, my whole thing is I want Spider-Man to turn back to the way it was. Now, Spider-Man, Peter Parker had to make a deal with the devil. Now, the person that wrote that storyline was Michael J. Straczynski, who did Babylon 5. I don't care if he did what is known as the greatest sci-fi thing ever. He destroyed Spider-Man because he did some of the most outrageous storylines in Spider-Man that ruined the character. Spider-Man? Yeah, and I wanted him gone. He did the storyline where he said that Gwen Stacy first had sex with Norman Osborn. She had kids in like the span of a month or two, and that's why he threw her off the bridge. I was having a heart attack. I'm like, no friggin' way. He's the one where he had the guy, Moreland, I believe, rip out Peter Parker's eye and eat it and almost kill him. And then Peter Parker got these tentacles out and killed the first supervillain ever in history to save Mary Jane. Then he died but was wrapped around a cocoon. Then he came out of the cocoon. He had a new body. And then he goes to the morgue where his old body is and he takes the wedding ring, whatever. That was the weirdest thing I've ever seen, too. Then he did another story. He did so many crap storylines with Spider-Man. And then he's the one that made Peter Parker make a deal with the devil in Marvel Universe, Mephisto, to save the life of Aunt May, because Kingpin was like, oh, I know who Peter Parker is. I'm going to have a sharpshooter and kill him. And they killed Aunt May. And she was dying in the hospital, and he's like, it's all my fault. So Mephisto, he made a deal with the devil. And now, here's the thing. These people that wrote these comics were like middle-aged guys that had getting divorced and had problems. They didn't know what love is anyway. So they implemented their bullshit into the comic, and he was married to Mary Jane for 21 years our time, okay? But Aunt May is 99, all right? 99 years old. So he basically shit on the 21 years of marriage to this hot supermodel that does everything for him, okay? He shit on the marriage to save the 99-year-old Aunt May, which logically she would come back and die like 100 years later, 100 years later, because she's going to die. You can't. So Peter Parker, who with great power comes great responsibility, did the most irresponsible thing in history. Right. And be such a selfish whatever that, now, of course, he couldn't do it alone. Mary Jane agreed to it because she says, what kind of marriage are we going to have if you're always going to regret that Aunt May's going to die? We're not going to have a marriage. So Mephisto, as he did the deal, Mary Jane made him promise that if he were to hurt Peter Parker or Spider-Man in any way, the deal is broken, right? And he also put something in there where they would never get back together because, and the reason why Mephisto wanted their marriage, because he said that that is the most holy thing that God was proud of, is that the marriage of Mary Jane and Peter Parker, right? So he wanted to take that from God. So basically, after they sealed the deal, Mephisto's like, oh, by the way, yes, nobody will know you're Spider-Man. I'll erase everybody's memories of that, so you don't have to have any problems. Aunt May will be alive and well, making you wheat cakes. You never got married. But by the way, she's pregnant, and now I'm going to take the soul of your child, your second child there. So have a nice day. And he's like, no! And then the whole universe, boom, got wiped. The Marvel Universe, for the first time ever, stood altered for I don't know how many years. They used to have things where they would alter it, turn it back. It was never altered permanently like this. And this sent ripples throughout the Marvel Universe, where now Doctor Strange was no longer the Sorcerer Supreme, because Peter Parker asked Doctor Strange's help, and he said no, but in one of his sanctum, in his rooms, there was a key to reach Mephisto. So he had problems with violating the laws of whatever. And then we had people that were dead that came back. And it was like the weirdest thing. And people were flipping out at the Marvel building, just like because all the comics that they had from 1987 on or whatever it was, when you could throw in the garbage because it's like it never happened. Like all this time they were never married or whatever. So either everything happened the same way, but they weren't married, which is weird. But then it would be like the whole thing that Marvel would be against is like kids out of wedlock and all this other stuff because they're all like stricklers with that, right? So now Dan Slott takes over right after that happens, which is Brand New Day. And he's been on the book for 9 years. If they would have reverted back, every single story would be wiped to his. And his whole thing would be wiped. And no writer wants that to happen. No writer wants that to be where all their work gets erased. But at the same time, Spider-Man screwed up because of it. So you have to fix it some way. So that's what I'm hoping that it gets fixed. And I'll give you, what are your thoughts on that, what I just said?
Messed up universe.
The whole universe is messed up. But if they would
totally screwed.
Hold on one second. I'm just going to go. Be right back. Just give me your thoughts.
I just wish a lot of things in comic books history would never happen, like Crisis on Infinite Earths. That was the most stupidest thing they ever did when they killed off Flash.
And then they just simply brought him back.
Yeah. And now, what is it? They're doing something else to change the universe again?
They did.
It's stupid. Leave it alone.
Yeah, they had 52 last year, and then they had Rebirth this year, and apparently somehow, I don't know if they revealed, I can't remember if they revealed it or not, but somehow it's working out to where the Watcher had something to do with that Crisis thing. And now I pick up a comic book every now and then, or I'll hear about it on like one of these comic books. I am in 93, our comic book store closed, and I have not been able to buy a comic book since 93, so I am totally lost. No, there was, when I first moved back here in 93, there was a little comic book shop down maybe a mile and a half from me. And that's where I got a lot of my comics. Everything from some of the, what we consider as comics, COMIX, like Babylon Crush.
Sorry, guys, I was choking.
Did she give you the Heimlich?
No, I don't know what the hell I had in there. I had to get water and hot balls or whatever.
But a few of these are what we consider, Vampirotica, which is all these very, what we consider as risque comic books, and you're done pretty good. But speaking of comic books, did we all see the fact that they revealed Robin's Titans outfit?
No.
Yep, here we go. Okay, where's it?
Yeah, just to add, let me just add
Robin now.
Okay, here we go. Here's the share thing.
Is it still?
There we go. Yeah, it's the guy from the new series. There we go. That's
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be.
I had it earlier today, but I couldn't find the page again, so I had to start looking up that. But yeah, that's his look.
That's cool.
Looking like they're doing.
I thought he was going to be Nightwing.
He is.
So-
He's going to become Nightwing, but he's got to first start off as Robin because that's the way.
Now this is for what? The movie?
No, that new Titan series.
Oh, okay.
That's the
The
guy
live
who plays
action?
the series.
Is it still coming out?
it's live
Are
action.
they still doing that?
Yeah, it's still coming out. I forget what
Okay.
year, but that's what the guy who plays Robin slash.
That's cool. I like that. If I could just
It
add
looks like you're
something.
taking on the whole, maybe a little bit of the Jason Todd or
Mhm.
the guy who followed him's look. So,
I like it.
Yeah.
If I could just add, now my whole thing about that speech that I was given is that if they were to really break the deal with Mephisto, that wouldn't just necessarily alter Spider-Man. Every single comic in the Marvel Universe for the past 9 years would be reverted back to what it is. So that could be a way to say, hey, we screwed up these storylines so much, let's go backwards. And the issue is that maybe people wouldn't want that because all their stuff would be wiped. So maybe they got to do it in a way where everything is canon, but the deal is
wipe everything to where it's pretty much temporarily locked in just such a manner to where
technically the only thing I could think that they could do is because Spider-Man altered the whole universe, they restore it back, but he's sort of been in 2 different universes. Like he created you know how Marvel Universe is 616?
Yeah.
It sort of created a 616B, like a strand from it. Like in other words, it created a strand because of Mephisto. So in other words,
similar to what happened with the Age of Apocalypse, in a way.
Yeah, but the thing is that this would exist as 616B that he's in, and then he'll go back to 616. But then we would have to figure out how this. I don't know.
I'm totally.
It's a pickle.
Yeah.
Like I told Scott while you were away, I haven't read a comic book in 30 years because we don't have a comic book store.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to think why, I'm starting to feel that it makes sense that, Mockingbird is his girlfriend because Mephisto killed her, technically.
And it's out of regret.
I don't know. And then they said he didn't kill her. It's like a whole thing. I mean, my thing is that she's technically dead still in the Mephisto's realm.
Yeah.
But they're saying that was a Skrull, which I don't believe that. But it's a mess. But it would make sense to try to. Mephisto's basically in everything lately, but behind the scenes, like. He's going to be battling Doctor Strange. He's going to be battling Champions, I think. He's Silver Surfer Kid, Deadpool. So obviously something's building up where he's going to be the storyline for the whole entire comic book chain, either in 2018 or whatever. Thanks. Huh? Shout for my coffee. And look, there's the Avengers. Ah! That was nice. That was a nice choice, hon.
Yeah.
They got all the Avengers on the mug there. That's cool.
Well, let me ask y'all a question. I've been hearing some stuff about a new Masters of the Universe movie.
Yes.
Live action.
Sony.
Is it true?
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
Please don't let it be Dolph Lundgren.
It's not.
Who is it?
I don't know.
You don't?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not Dolph. It's a total reboot.
Now, the one that played Skeletor, I liked him.
Let this be a final battle. I remember that, like that line. I love that.
It was a weird movie. I'd like
the 80s
cartoon movie than I did the live action.
It was the 80s. Everything was weird back then.
Now, I did like G.I. Joe live action movie. I did like it. But the Transformers live action and stuff, they should have just made animated.
I don't think that G.I. Joe is what it should be. Because I remember reading the comic and it's like, You know, they tried to do like Destro, like the Man in the Iron Mask, which I'm a fan of that history too, and those movies about that. And that was Chris Eccleston also, by the way. The Ninth Doctor was Destro.
Now, I loved it when they brought in Serpentor. I loved Serpentor.
I hated it because Cobra Commander was my guy. All right?
Oh, yeah.
When he was out of the picture, I was pissed. When he came back into the picture and turned Serpentor into a snake and took over, that's when I was happy. But by then, the show was kind of just about done. Like, they just created that type of show to bring Cobra Commander back, but they kind of ended it because it lost its flavor.
I've got the very first comic book of that
Serpentor
of Marvel.
My favorite thing was that besides G.I. Joe having a theme song, Cobra had a theme song. I was happy about that because when they had G.I. Joe the movie, that was awesome. That they had that, you know, armies of the night, evil taking flight, Cobra. I love that. That was cool.
I love
that. Was cool. That was cool. We need a proper G.I. Joe movie like that.
I tell you what science fiction show should have had a monthly comic book series, and it was Babylon 5. They should have made one.
I was not a fan of him after we did Spider-Man. That's probably why I didn't want to have nothing to do with his run.
I loved the movie. What was it called? It was Legends of the Rangers. It was a pilot for a new series, but the ratings were bad, and I was hurt about that because I loved the pilot. I watch it all the time. I loved it.
Right.
Oh, they attempted a reboot of Lost in Space several years ago, and
well, it beat the Titanic. It beat Titanic
big time.
I know, but it was a stupid movie.
About that is they took a lot of those sets and a lot of that stuff they used and put it into the new Babylon. Not new Babylon, but the new Battlestar Galactica.
Now I'm wondering where the hell is the new Lost in Space that was supposed to be a Netflix original or whatever?
It's coming out next year or the year after.
They're going to screw it up. They're going to screw it up. I bet
they already made the decision of making Dr. Smith a woman.
So. Yeah.
Yes. SJW stuff.
And it's supposed to be set up a very odd way. So that's all I remember from the...
I'm unhappy about a lot of things with the comics. And, you know, everybody knows I'm a comic nut, but the whole Captain America being frozen again pisses me off. Really bad. I mean, we've had that too before. I'm not happy with that at all.
Yeah.
I think the only way to fix Captain America is they got to undo that whole Hydra Cap thing. He can't be allowed to be existing.
That's stupid.
He's just got to fade out of existence. That never happened. They should not be around. I don't, you're thinking about the marketing and no, he can't be around. He has to be where they have one final battle and he basically disintegrates because he shouldn't exist at all. And the Cosmic Cube takes the energy back, and that's it, or something. But you can't have him exist. It's not.
No.
And the people don't trust Captain America. I don't like that either. Everybody's like loving Captain America. That's the way it's supposed to be. And he's just a Boy Scout, and everybody goes to him what to do. The fact that they had to break him like that, I was pissed about it. And you know what? They say, oh, you shouldn't really do anything. You can't say anything unless you read the comic. I did, and I still was not happy.
Yeah.
So I listened, and I actually wasted money for all of that. There was some good stuff that happened that I liked, but ultimately not resolved the way I wanted it. And no, you're wrong because you made everybody get the book, and you still screwed them over. So every time you hear anybody say that, like you can't judge it without reading the book and all that stuff, the biggest con is to be getting you to get the book, to spend the money to make it popular in the first place. And then what happens is when you read it, you still don't friggin' like it half the times.
Nope.
And they get their way. They get all the money. I mean,
they got their money already, so it's like, why bother?
So that's nonsense. You don't have to. If you know for a fact that, like, you know, that they're going to ruin your character, like the people that you grew up with, I mean, that's the guy. First of all, Civil War movie was still out. Disney got pissed off that they did that. everybody had to react to it. Then they were building a friggin' statue in Brooklyn that they put up. How are you going to put up a statue of Captain America after everything he's accomplished if he's a friggin' Nazi in the comics? And then they're trying to say, well, no, he's not a Nazi. He just kills everybody, but he's not a Nazi. He's he's going by the Nazi thing, but he's not a Nazi. Bullshit, he's a Nazi. He's a Nazi.
I don't like it where they're making all the superheroes into killers because
they got Rick Jones, right?
Superman, Batman was killing people. Batman does not hold a gun. He just does.
They stringed up. Yeah. Yeah.
He doesn't kill people with bullets or nothing. I didn't like that with the Batman movies when he was shooting bullets out of the Batmobile. He doesn't use any kind of weapons like that. He is the weapon himself.
Right.
And he doesn't kill. I just didn't like what they did on with that. I just nope.
Yeah. Well,
I like what Batman Beyond did when Batman he picked up a gun to save his life, but he didn't shoot the man, and he runs away, and Batman comes out, pulls his mask, and looks at the gun and says, "Never again. I'll never put on this suit ever again." That's the Batman that I know.
Getting back to Captain America, the situation with that is just he had Rick Jones, who was with the Avengers on the Hulk side. You know, the whole thing was the Hulk's origin. They had him strung up like they were going to shoot him to death. And right before they killed him, he had the radio wave that said Avengers Assemble. Then they shot the shit out of him. Like, actually, Captain America made them shoot him and kill him to show his loyalty to Hydra. And it was and he even broke Black Widow's neck with the shield. Disgusting.
Hey, Vaughn.
Hey, Vaughn.
Hey, Vaughn.
Hey, Vaughn. We were just about to get out of here because we got like a minute left in this cast.
How you doing?
Hello? Hello, hello, hello. All right, we got to get out of here anyway. Hey, Vaughn. You hear us? Vaughn? Hello. We're about to get kicked out. We're about to get kicked out because we got a minute left.
Okay.
So I'm going to create a new one, okay?
Okay.
All right, we'll be back. Take care. Bye for now.